To act like I've been here before, but I haven't, so I'm not. Uh, so thank you all for joining Google's secret menu. If you're not familiar with that term, it's the internet legend that if you go to places like Starbucks or McDonald's, they have a secret menu that they don't advertise, but you can ask for certain things and they'll make a special order for you. So the idea here is some Google tools that maybe you haven't heard of or maybe aren't as well publicized but are really useful. So yeah, you definitely want that bit.ly link, bit.ly/Google Secret Menu, because this is actually usually an hour-long presentation, and rather than delete a bunch of slides, I said, let me give you all the stuff that you need so you can look at it later, and I'll just present the content that I can during this time. So, no problem. All right. So quick introduction, my name is Eric Santos. Did anyone go to Eric Kurtz before mine? Okay. You know that this isn't Eric Kurtz, like you read the schedule, right? Okay. You got the wish.com version if you weren't paying attention. I like how they slid me in there with the other Eric. So I'm the Regional Ed Tech Coordinator for the Learning Technology Center of Illinois. We provide technology services, support, and training for teachers in K through 12 throughout Illinois. I'm in the Chicagoland region. Anybody else from Chicago here? Sweet, because I need a ride home from the airport on Wednesday. Thank you. Thank you. Uber prices are crazy. I'm a national board certified teacher. I spent 15 years as a STEM educator at the middle school level, as well as a technology learning coach, Google certified coach, trainer, 2 master's degrees, all kinds of good stuff. So that's me. More about my organization, although we serve primarily Illinois, there are things there for everyone. So if you have the slides, please go ahead and on your own time, click through. We have webinars, we have online courses, and all kinds of great information that can support you no matter where you are. So, with that said, let's get started. I'm going to present a few tools that I labeled appetizers, so they're small mini apps that might be useful. Yes, I love puns, dad jokes, sorry. There's a few main courses that I think can serve as like standalone, really beefy, see what I did there, really beefy apps that you can really have students feast on. And then desserts, fun stuff that maybe doesn't fit well as like a curricular thing, but kind of fun, educational still at the same time, and then a couple of to-go orders. So let's get started. First, here's the list, the full list. I'm going to just stick with the spicy ones here that I'm going to explain to you guys in the time that I have. So my first favorite one is Chrome Canvas. So Chrome Canvas is essentially, as the name states, just a blank canvas. So it all runs through the Chrome browser, and what I'm not going to do is attempt to actually draw anything here, so I'll just kind of draw a circle and show you that it's got a free draw tool with a couple of different markers, pencils, pens. Why don't I make that a smiley face? This is about as good as my drawing gets. I have some creative skills. Paper and pencil hand drawing is not one of them. I know I'm supposed to say growth mindset, but I'm 40. Like, this is as good as it's getting at this point. But the good news is your students can do way better than I can at this. In fact, this is something that I found online that students did with this program. If anyone uses Google Drawing before, I've had students who like sit there and with a Chromebook with just the trackpad are able to like draw amazing anime characters and their favorite sports figures and color them in, and it's amazing art. So I can only imagine with a Chromebook that has a touchscreen and a stylus what they can do with a tool like this. What I really want to show, though, beyond it just being a drawing tool, is that you can actually upload. I'm going to go back to the home screen, and you can go to the New from Image button, and you can pull in an image that you previously downloaded and make it the background. So now you can give students a canvas with a background to draw on. And the reason that's useful, there's a couple of ideas. You can potentially find a comic strip panel to pull in as a background. You could download graph paper. There's a link to some, but if you just Google graph paper, you'll find plenty of pictures out there. I was a science teacher, so I would love to have labels for my students to be able to diagram, maps, all kinds of ideas so that they can quickly just grab a tool and start scribbling all over it and making wonderful things. So the great thing about that is once they're finished, they can then download that image. So I used this a lot as a science teacher when I was really excited to have students start doing their lab reports on Google Docs. I ran into a problem because when it was time to sketch something or draw something, well, then they had to go back to paper and pencil, try to maneuver taking a picture with the Chromebook. It didn't work out, so now I can have them pop over to this quick web tool, make their drawing, download and save the image, and just pop it right into Google Docs. So really good way to keep things digital if you want to go with the paperless classroom, but still have them have some capabilities to have free drawing. So that is Chrome Canvas. Now, Going with that same theme of me not being able to draw very well, there are tools to help folks like me. AutoDraw is one of them. So AutoDraw allows you to take a hand-drawn picture like this, which, yes, that was mine also, and it tries to guess exactly what you were trying to draw. So it's like, I know, right? Where was this my whole life? And then it gives you like a better version of it that you can then color in. So again, when you've got students who are doing maybe some brainstorming, some sketching of an idea, trying to put together something visual for a project, this is a good, quick tool, and I'll kind of show you live what it can look like. So if you just go right into autodraw.com, again, I'll draw that same kind of sad thing that I was drawing there originally, and as I draw it, it starts to try to guess what it was. Lion is definitely one of the options, but there are many others that it probably looks like as well, so I can pick any one of them. And there we go, so there's a pond. And then there's all these wonderful options to be able to fill things in with different colors if you wanted to have an algae-filled pond. There we go. So it's more than just play. This has actually become useful, especially for someone who's a little artistically challenged like myself. I actually created this entire food chain in less than 15 minutes. Thank you. It's the first time my art has been given that kind of reception. Thank you, AutoDraw. So really cool tool. Again, this one doesn't have the ability to like download the picture, but obviously students can do a quick screenshot and then teach them how to insert that image wherever you need it to go. The cool thing is there's no login, but if you're in the same Chrome profile, it'll like retain whatever you worked on. So whoever the next presenter is, if they happen to go to AutoDraw, they're going to see my sad little pond there and wonder what was going on before they got there. The next one, moving away from art for a minute, is Fact Check Explorer. So this is a pretty cool tool that if you want to look into some kind of conspiracy theory or just something simple that students believe might be true and you want to try to find good sources to disprove something, or just you're not sure and you want to fact check something, this is a place where you can do it. You can click the recent fact checks to see some recently searched things, or you can search for your own. I'll pick one that my students like to come to me with. And the student asked me, are lizard people real? And there's all kinds of wonderful articles that come up that say, this is unsupported, this is false, and here's a link to a better article to prove to you that, a better source to show you why this is false. So really useful for media literacy, digital literacy, and proving that Jeff Bezos, in fact, is not an alien. Thought the Google people would like that. All right, so that is it for our appetizers. On to some main courses. I'm going to start with one. This was the reason this is up here in another box is this was a late edition I just found out about recently, and I'd like to highlight that one. This is called Code Next. And Code Next, as Google says, is a program that works with high schoolers to cultivate the next generation of Black, Latinx, and Native tech leaders. It's a really cool program. It is local in person to, I think, just Oakland right now, but they have an entire online component. And essentially, you're able to sign up students to join a virtual club where they, throughout the course of the 8-month school year, they learn 3D modeling and 3D design, they learn robotics, they learn coding, and they develop projects together. So it's kind of like a virtual after-school or weekend club that, in order to help improve diversity and access to computer science and technology in general. So a really cool program I'm just learning about, and I wanted to make sure I share that with you all front and center. All right, a couple others I want to share. Let's go through to the spicier ones. I have an entire presentation on Google Keep. Is anyone here familiar with Google Keep? I'm just curious. Yeah, this one is kind of migrating away from the secret menu. I feel like this one's getting more and more popular, but essentially if you want to create digital sticky notes, this is a great program in which to do that. You can color code them, you can make checklists, you can set reminders, and you can share them with others. But there's an entire presentation I'll let you go ahead and click on your own time and learn more about. Talked about Code Next already. All right, Applied Digital Skills. So the Applied Digital Skills site is an amazing library of ready-made digital lessons for students. When I say ready-made, they really have everything embedded in those lessons. They have an introduction, they usually have a video explanation, they have a set of lessons, and oftentimes there's a project that students are building along the way, and it's all totally self-paced. So you could be leading the lessons with students, or you can give it to them as something that they complete on their own time, which is great if you find yourself in a remote learning situation or when you're teaching something and students are absent and they need to be retaught. So here is the Applied Digital Skills site once I've already logged in and signed up for an account as a teacher. As you can see, they've got some good topics already there. A lot of what they have is around digital literacy and learning how to use their technology effectively, but there's a lot of other things as well. In fact, earlier I did a search just for the word culture and found all kinds of amazing things, from Frida Kahlo to the history of humankind in Kenya to scavenger hunts through Italy. So there's really a lot of stuff, and you can narrow it down by grade band as well. So I filtered this just to middle school. You can do a search right here and find anything you like. For example, something that I did at my previous school is we had a group of teachers who were doing infographics, and they wanted to use Google Drawings, but the concern was we don't have a full team of teachers that all have the same background knowledge in Google Drawings to be able to teach kids how to use it themselves. Additionally, it's going to be several days of Google Drawings lessons in order to get them ready to even know how to create an infographic. So luckily, design an infographic in Google Drawings came up in my search, and I looked like a hero to my teachers. And we just plug and played that one right on in and let students do that as a self-paced lesson. When you go into the lessons, you can add it to your class, and you can sync over your Google Classroom, so you can manage everything either through Classroom or you can manage it right here in the Applied Digital Skills app. But as you can see, it's got several different steps. The video steps students through creating their actual infographic that they turn in right here in the tool. And what I really like is just about, as far as I've seen, all of the activities have either or both a reflection and a quiz at the end. So that assessment piece and that reflection piece is often built right in there for you. So that is Applied Digital Skills. Along that same vein, there is CS First. So if you teach computer science or you're interested in teaching students computer science, CS First uses a very similar platform. In fact, maybe someone at Google can confirm that it's basically the same platform, but it's all computer science related. So going into that app really quickly, CS First has all of these hands-on lessons that are built right in, where all the teaching is built right in, and students do all of their coding right there. And they're not all just like straight computer science coding. They integrate very well with other subject areas like ELA and science, and so you've got some ready-made lessons all there for you. When you click into them and get students going, you can see that if you've ever done any kind of coding before, that might be a pretty familiar interface to some of you. And so I believe it uses Scratch or something very similar to Scratch. And what I'm really excited about is I went in there recently and see that they have lessons in Spanish now as well. So very good. All right, Google Arts and Culture. So this is a pretty big tool that has so many different things. This is a rabbit hole you can go down for quite a while. But essentially, the Arts and Culture site is a place where art, culture, and AI meet to create interactive experiences. There are a lot of different ones there, and I can definitely get lost up here with you. But I'll point out a couple of ones that I really like that I think are useful to students. One of them is Museum and Street Views. So the museum views allows you to go to actual museums and take yourself through a VR tour of those museums. So if I wanted to, for example, take my students to a Smithsonian museum, I could just search for that. I see the National Museum of Natural History is there. I can click into it, and there are specific stopping points already set up for me, so I can click through and get a VR experience. But I can also kind of do the Google Street View thing and click along and actually physically walk through. It leads me to the gift shop. How about that? I feel like I'm really at the museum now. But I can physically walk through as if I was doing a real trip to the museum. So obviously nothing can replace the real thing, but this is about as close as I think you can get. So you can send students on their way independently and give them maybe a scavenger hunt of sorts to go through, or you can lead them through with the full class. Some other things that I like are the VR tours, so kind of a similar idea, but there are virtual reality tours that, let me go ahead and click and pull it up. Nope, doesn't want to work today. Well, trust my word that there are virtual reality tours built into Google Arts and Culture. We'll move on to the next one. This is a pretty cool one, kind of getting into digging into art a little deeper. The art camera allows you to explore art in ways that maybe you've never had before, or help students do the same thing. So for example, if you wanted to zoom into this Rembrandt painting, It's a site that takes you through and gives you some background information on the painting, but then automatically, as I'm scrolling, it zooms me into a specific area and talks a little bit about it. So if you want to incorporate some art in your classroom, but you're like, I don't have an art degree or I really have that background, this is a good way to just have some ready-made content to plug in with your students. All right, so with that, one more main course, and that is Be Internet Awesome. So if you're interested in teaching your students digital skills and digital literacy skills, Be Internet Awesome is a great place to do so. They have this, what you're seeing a screenshot of here is this entire interactive world that's very game-based that students can play and go to each one of these different areas and explore different digital literacy skills. But if you're not interested in that, that's okay because they have an entire curriculum already set up for you that you can just access for free. So there's Interland. And then if you just want the slides and you just want access to all of the curriculum, it's all right there, and it's broken down by each category. So not falling for fake news, knowing how to share safely online, being kind to others on the internet, and so on. So there's all free curriculum there for you. All right, let's get into a few desserts, some fun stuff that I would argue has a place in the classroom, but may not fit as well into everyone's curriculum. We can start with experiments with Google. This is another rabbit hole you can go down for quite a while. The experiments with Google are experimental projects. They combine creativity, collaboration, and creative uses of AI, as well as testing the limits of what can be done in the Chrome browser. So these are mostly user-submitted, but there's also Google. The Google team creates some of these as well. Some of them are really fun. Like, for example, you can scan that QR code, or if you've got the presentation open, you can just click the Join My Band. So I'm going to click on it, and this is actually called Shared Piano. Anybody played Shared Piano before? Oh my goodness. Okay, so if you want to scan the QR code or you want to just click on that link, essentially I created a place for us to all play a piano together. So if you're on that link and at the same place that I'm at, once it loads up, we can all play at the same time, and it'll be a fun time. Yeah, jam session. Of course, that's the one that's not loading. I do hear it loading for someone. You guys can jam without me. It's cool. Only 10 at a time? Okay. I wasn't one of those 10, unfortunately. You all are fast clickers and scanners, but, I don't have to be the center of attention here, right? My students can run with it. All right, so a shared experience for Chrome Music Lab, but obviously there's only a limit of 10 people. Another one that I like is, let me pull it up. That one worked, good. Okay, so Songmaker is another favorite of mine because of the ease with which students can make music right here. And so essentially you can have students pick which, there we go. That is loud. So I can change things up however I'd like and add these notes in. And when I'm ready, I can just go ahead and play it. And I can even add to it as we're going. Okay, I'm going to stop there and add some rhythm to it. I have no background in music either. I'm just rando clicking here, but the power of the internet is going to make me sound like I know what I'm doing. For more hot beats, follow me on Instagram. Thank you. But, a fun thing for students, but hey, I can tell you many times where I was having students do a video project or something else where I wanted them to have music. They're dying to bring in their own music. It's never appropriate, so I can't let them. But this is a quick tool to let them create that music. They can actually download the WAV file, and so now they have music that they can put right into a movie project that's their original creation. And they're all using the same tool, and yet all coming up with totally different music. So that one is absolutely one of my favorites. I'm going to end up running out of time, so I'm kind of glad that that was the last one that you all got to see. But there's several other things in here. The last one I'll share with you is the to-go order. My favorite is Google Lens, which actually is built right into the Google app or the Google Photos app. It allows you to snap a picture of something, and it automatically shows it gives you a quick search and shows you where you can buy that object or what it's named. That weird plant that's growing in your backyard, you can identify if it's poisonous or not. It's amazing. So Google Lens is a great mobile app to use. That is my time. Thank you all for being here with me, and enjoy the rest of ISTE.